Chapter 1, The Rank That Could Not Command. The dog lay in the middle of the road beneath the pouring rain. Cars rushed past on both sides, sending dirty water across its trembling body. One of its hind legs rested at an unnatural angle, and every flash of lightning made the terrified animal struggle to rise. "Stay still," Arav Mehra whispered. His clothes were already soaked through. Rainwater ran into his eyes as he crouched several meters away, keeping his hands visible. The dog bared its teeth. Not because it wanted to attack. Because it was afraid. Arav had seen that expression many times while volunteering at the animal clinic. Pain could turn even the gentlest animal defensive. Approaching too quickly would only make it panic. "I'm not going to hurt you." He removed his jacket and slowly extended it toward the dog. Another horn screamed behind him. Arav glanced over his shoulder. Bright headlights appeared through the rain. Too fast. He moved before he had time to think. Arav threw himself forward, wrapping his arms around the injured dog and dragging it away from the center of the road. The animal cried out. Brakes shrieked. White light filled Arav's vision. Then everything became silent. The first thing he heard was applause. Arav opened his eyes. Hundreds of candles floated beneath a high stone ceiling. Sunlight poured through tall colored windows, illuminating banners marked with the image of a silver chain surrounding a beast's claw. Young men and women stood in orderly rows. Some wore expensive coats and polished boots. Others carried simple cloth bags and patched cloaks. Every one of them faced a raised platform where a crystal sphere rested upon a carved pedestal. A boy near the platform held his hand over the sphere. Golden light surrounded him. Words appeared above the crystal. Name: Lucen Harrow. Tamer rank: C. Class: Flame Beast Commander. The hall erupted in cheers. AC rank: House Harrow has produced another strong tamer. He'll receive offers from the military guild before sunset. Arav stared at the glowing words. His first thought was that he had somehow survived the accident. His second was that hospitals did not usually contain floating candles. Then the memories struck him. A small rented room. Cold winter mornings. Cleaning feeding pens at the Imperial Tamer Guild. Saving copper coins inside a cracked clay jar. A boy named Arin Vale, whose parents had died during a monster attack when he was 6. Years of watching proud tamers walk through the city with powerful beasts beside them. One final hope. Awakening Day. Arav gripped the wooden bench as two lives collided inside his mind. He remembered studying animal care on Earth. He also remembered carrying feed sacks through these guild stables. He remembered dying beneath the headlights. He remembered waking before dawn in a narrow room, hungry but excited because Arin Vale had finally reached 19, the legal age for an official tamer awakening. His breathing became unsteady. "I'm alive." The hands resting on his knees were younger than the ones he remembered. They were rough from work, with small scars along the fingers. His clothing consisted of a faded green tunic, brown trousers and worn leather boots. Arav, or Arin, looked toward one of the windows. A youthful face stared back from the glass. Light brown skin, short, slightly messy dark brown hair, golden brown eyes filled with confusion. This was not his body. Yet it did not feel entirely unfamiliar. The memories belonged to him now. So did the name. Arin Vale. Next. The sharp voice from the platform pulled him back to the hall. Another candidate approached the crystal. Arin forced himself to breathe slowly. Whatever had happened, panicking would not change it. He listened. The people around him spoke of mana, contract capacity and beast compatibility as casually as people on Earth discussed university entrance exams. This world was called Eldoria. The continent was Valoran. And this region belonged to the Avedon Empire, a nation where tamers protected settlements, transported cargo, hunted monsters and served noble families. A powerful tamer could become wealthy. A week one could spend life cleaning cages. Arin knew which future the original owner of this body had feared. Arin Vale. Every head in his row turned toward him. An impatient clerk stood beside the aisle. Are you sleeping? No. Then approach the crystal. Arin rose. His legs felt stable, although his thoughts did not. He walked between the rows while quiet voices followed him. That's the stable worker. He paid for an awakening. Maybe cleaning dung improves beast compatibility. A few candidates laughed. Arin continued walking. The original Arin had heard worse. At the platform, an elderly examiner stood beside the crystal. Silver spectacles rested low upon his nose, and a dark blue gilt robe covered his thin frame. Place your dominant hand on the awakening crystal, the examiner said. Do not pull away until the result stabilizes. Arin looked into the sphere. Threads of pale light moved inside it like smoke beneath glass. What exactly will it measure? A few people snickered at the question. The examiner appeared equally unimpressed. Mana capacity, spiritual resilience, contract authority and natural affinity. The crystal will determine your public class and starting rank. Contract authority. The strength of your ability to impose commands upon contracted beasts. The answer made Arin pause. Impose. The examiner tapped the pedestal. Hand on the crystal. Arin obeyed. Cold spread through his palm. The hall disappeared. For one strange moment, Arin sensed hundreds of distant heartbeats. Some were calm. Some angry. Many afraid. They came from beneath the guild hall, from the training pens, transport cages and underground beast chambers. His awareness moved through them like a warm current. A horse with an aching front hoof. A young windhawk exhausted from repeated flight drills. A scaled lizard burning with fever. And something smaller nearby, hiding beneath a wooden platform while iron pressed painfully against its neck. Arin's fingers tightened around the crystal. A faint pulse answered from deep within him. Not a command. An invitation. The light inside the crystal changed. White mist spread through the sphere. For an instant, Arin thought he saw the outline of an enormous tree, its branches stretching beyond the crystal's surface. One silver leaf drifted downward. Then a crack of light flashed across the room. The sensation vanished. Words formed above the pedestal. Name: Arin Vale. Tamer rank: F. The hall became quiet. A second line appeared. Class: Gentle Tamer. The silence broke into laughter. Arin studied the result. F rank. Someone said. Even stable boys usually receive E rank. What does Gentle Tamer mean? It means he can ask a monster politely before it eats him. The examiner adjusted his spectacles, staring at the crystal as though it had personally disappointed him. Mana capacity, extremely low. Command authority, absent. Forced contract compatibility, none. None, Arin asked. You cannot overpower a beast's will through a contract seal. You cannot issue absolute commands, and you will not be able to borrow combat abilities through ordinary contracts. The examiner removed a thin bronze identification plate from beneath the pedestal. He pressed it against the crystal, recording the result. F rank Gentle Tamer, the lowest recognized classification. Arin looked at the glowing words again. He should have felt crushed. The original Arin had spent almost 7 years saving for this awakening. Every coin, every freezing morning and every insult had been endured for the hope of becoming a real tamer. That hope had just been reduced to 2 lines above a crystal. But something bothered Arin more than the rank. What happens when a beast refuses a contract? The examiner frowned. A qualified tamer strengthens the seal until resistance stops. And if the creature is frightened? Fear is irrelevant once obedience is established. Arin withdrew his hand from the crystal. The laughter around him no longer mattered. He remembered the dog beneath the rain. Its exposed teeth. Its shaking body. Fear had never been irrelevant. The examiner handed him the bronze plate. You may apply for stable work, transport assistance or low-level creature maintenance. Do not attempt to contract wild beasts without supervision. Arin accepted the plate. It contained his name, rank and class. It also held a small stamped warning. Combat license unavailable. Years of effort for permission to continue doing the same work. Arin stepped away from the platform. Wait, called another official. A broad-shouldered instructor entered the testing area, dragging a reinforced wooden cage. Something inside struck the bars. Several candidates leaned forward eagerly. The instructor placed the cage beside the crystal and pulled away the heavy cloth covering it. A young beast crouched inside. It resembled a dark grey hound, but stiff red thorns grew along its back. A metal control collar surrounded its neck. One of its front legs was swollen, and dried blood marked the fur beneath the collar. The creature snapped at the bars. An Ashfang hound, the instructor announced. Recently captured. Young, aggressive and suitable for basic domination testing. The beast struck the cage again. Arin felt its panic before he consciously recognized it. A raw pressure formed behind his ribs. Pain. Fear. Confusion. The emotions did not arrive as words. They entered his awareness as clearly as the sensation of touching a hot surface. The instructor pointed toward the candidates who had received higher ranks. Those with D rank or above may attempt a preliminary command. Successful candidates will receive additional guild consideration. Lucen Harrow, the C rank flame beast commander, stepped forward first. He smiled confidently and raised one hand. A red contract circle appeared before his palm. Kneel. The circle struck the cage. The Ashfang hound screamed. Its front legs bent, but it fought the pressure, claws scraping across the wooden floor. Lucen's smile faded. I said kneel. The red circle brightened. The beast collapsed. Several nobles applauded. Arin's stomach tightened. The hound was not being trained. It was being broken. The instructor nodded approvingly. Strong authority. Good resistance management. The hound trembled on the floor. Blood gathered beneath the edge of its collar. Arin stepped toward the cage. Stop. Lucen turned. What? The collar is cutting into its neck. The instructor blocked Arin with one arm. The beast injured two handlers this morning. Its front leg is swollen, the collar is too tight, and it has nowhere to retreat. Of course it's attacking. A murmur passed through the hall. Lucen laughed once. The F-rank stable boy thinks he knows more than a certified instructor. I know what fear looks like. The Ashfang hound raised its head. Its yellow eyes fixed upon Arin. For another brief moment, the strange connection returned. Pain traveled up Arin's left arm, mirroring the beast's injured leg. Pressure burned around his throat where the collar had torn its skin. Arin understood something without knowing how. The hound expected every approaching hand to hurt it. The instructor's expression hardened. Return to your place. Let me examine it. You possess no command authority. I'm not trying to command it. That answer brought another round of laughter. The instructor looked toward the examiner, perhaps expecting him to remove Arin. Instead, the elderly man studied the awakening crystal. A trace of white mist still moved inside it. Give him 1 minute, the examiner said. The instructor frowned. He is F rank. Then his failure will cost us only 1 minute. The cage door was unlocked. Arin crouched several steps away. The Ashfang hound forced itself upright and snarled. Red thorns rose along its spine. Arin did not stare directly into its eyes. He turned his body slightly to appear smaller and placed both empty hands on the floor. You don't have to come closer, he said quietly. The hall fell silent. The hound growled. Arin waited. He did not use mana. He did not create a contract circle. He simply observed. The creature placed little weight on its injured front leg. Its ears pressed flat whenever the instructor moved. Its breathing was fast and shallow. Arin slowly removed the cloth belt from his waist. The hound snapped at the movement. He stopped immediately. It's all right. After several seconds, Arin folded the cloth into a loose strip and placed it on the ground between them. Then he moved his hands away. The hound sniffed. One cautious step. Then another. The red thorns remained raised, but the creature did not attack. Arin felt the fear within it shift. Not vanish. Only loosen. The hound reached the cloth and smelled the faint scent of grain and stable hay clinging to it. Arin spoke softly. The metal hurts, doesn't it? The beast's growl weakened. Arin extended one hand, palm upward, stopping well beyond biting distance. The hound stared at him. A pale warmth gathered beneath Arin's skin. It moved toward his fingertips in a gentle pulse. The hound's ears lifted. For the briefest instant, a translucent symbol appeared above Arin's hand, the shape of an open doorway beneath spreading branches. No one seemed to notice except the examiner. The elderly man leaned forward. The Ishfang hound crossed the remaining distance. Its nose touched Arin's fingers. A wave of emotion entered him. Hunger. Exhaustion. Pain. And beneath all of it, a desperate question. Will this hand hurt too? Arin did not know whether the thought belonged to the beast or his own imagination. He slowly touched the side of its face. The pale warmth spread into the hound. Its raised thorns lowered. A soft golden-white glow passed over the swollen leg, reducing the trembling but not removing the injury. Arin could feel the limit immediately. Whatever this ability was, it could soothe pain and reveal damage, but it could not repair everything. The hound lowered its head onto his knee. No contract mark appeared. No command was spoken. Yet the creature had chosen to approach him. The hall remained completely silent. Arin examined the collar. This needs to be removed. The instructor recovered first. The collar is necessary. It is 2 sizes too small. It prevents escape. It is also infected. Arin pointed toward the darkened wound beneath the metal. If you leave it until tomorrow, the fever will worsen. After that, you might lose the beast. The instructor stared at the wound. His expression changed slightly. The examiner descended from the platform and crouched nearby. After inspecting the collar, he looked toward the instructor. Remove it. But. Now. The control collar opened with a metal click. The Ishfang hound flinched, then pressed closer to Arin. The examiner watched carefully. You did not establish a contract. No. You used no dominance seal. I don't think it would have accepted one. Acceptance is not required under imperial contract law. Arin met the old man's eyes. It should be. Several officials shifted uncomfortably. The examiner's expression gave away nothing. Your minute is over. 2 handlers approached with a larger transport pen and a padded restraint. Arin helped guide the hound inside without force. Before the door closed, the beast pushed its nose against his fingers once more. Then it lay down upon the folded cloth belt. Arin stood. Loosen Harrow folded his arms. You made a wounded animal stop biting. That doesn't make you a tamer. Arin looked at the red marks left around the hound's neck. Maybe not. He picked up his bronze identification plate. But hurting it didn't make you one either. A few candidates gasped. Loosen's face reddened. Before he could respond, the examiner struck his staff against the floor. Testing will continue. The crowd reluctantly returned its attention to the platform. Arin walked away. His official result had not changed. F rank Gentle Tamer. But now the words felt less like a verdict. They felt like a question. Outside the guild hall, afternoon sunlight covered the wide stone courtyard. Tamers gathered beneath colorful banners while recruiters moved between them. Military officers approached candidates with combat classes. Merchant representatives sought transport specialists. Noble servants carried sealed invitations to anyone ranked C or higher. No one approached Arin. He sat beside a fountain and examined his identification plate. He owned 3 copper coins, a nearly empty rented room and clothing that had seen better years. The original Arin's stable position would end tonight. Guild rules reserved permanent work for awakened tamers with approved beast contracts or licensed caretakers. Arin had neither. He turned the plate over. F rank. The words were spoken by a man standing behind him. Arin looked up. The stranger was in his early 30s, broad-shouldered and dressed in dark traveling armor. A bronze badge shaped like a claw marked him as AB rank tamer. 3 other adventurers waited nearby, a spearwoman, a robed mage and a thin scout carrying twin knives. The man's face was stern rather than openly unfriendly. Arin Vale, he asked. Yes. I'm Derek Walt, leader of the Ironcrest Tamer party. Arin recognized the name from the body's memories. Ironcrest completed dangerous guild expeditions along the Empire's frontier. Derek was known for returning with valuable monster materials and fewer injuries than most teams. What does AB rank party want with an F rank tamer? Not a tamer, Derek answered. A beast handler. Direct, but honest. Derek handed him a parchment. We are entering Whisperwood Forest to survey a newly corrupted zone. Our supply mule, tracking hounds and captured specimens will require care. Arin read the offered payment. It was more money than he had earned during 2 months in the stables. Why not hire a licensed caretaker? They cost more. Why me? I watched what happened inside. Derek glanced toward the guild hall. You noticed an infection before the instructor did. My party values useful skills, regardless of rank. It was not praise. Derek spoke as though evaluating a tool. Arin looked beyond the city walls. In the distance, an immense forest stretched beneath the afternoon sky. Whisperwood. The name awakened uneasy memories. Ancient trees. Lost ruins. Magical beasts. And, recently, spreading corruption. Dangerous territory for experienced adventurers. Possibly suicidal for someone with no combat license. When do you leave? Arin asked. At dawn. How long is the expedition? 5 days if nothing goes wrong. And if something does? Derek's expression remained calm. Then we adapt, or we die. One of the party members laughed as though it were a familiar answer. Arin studied the forest again. He needed money. He needed somewhere to go. More importantly, he needed to understand what had happened when the hound touched his hand. That strange warmth had not felt like control. It had felt like a door opening. Arin signed the parchment. Derek collected it and turned away. Eastern Gate before sunrise. Bring your own food. The Ironcrest party crossed the courtyard without another word. Arin remained beside the fountain, watching them leave. A cool breeze passed through the city. For a moment, the sounds of merchants, carriages and distant bells faded. Something whispered at the edge of his hearing. Not a human voice. Not quite an animal cry. It came from beyond the walls. From somewhere deep inside Whisperwood Forest. A frightened heartbeat. A flash of white fur beneath blackened roots. 2 turquoise eyes opening in the darkness. Then the sensation disappeared. Arin rose slowly. Far beyond the city, clouds gathered over the ancient forest. Although the sky above him remained clear, a single drop of rain landed upon the back of his hand. It shimmered with pale blue light. And deep inside Whisperwood, something wounded had begun waiting for him.